Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Jason McKeown and I am the CEO of Neurovalens, and we make non-invasive devices that treat type 2 diabetes. Almost 500 million people across the world are actually diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Currently, over $760 billion each year spent on diabetes and the associated costs of diabetes, so comorbidities and medications. What we do at Neurovalens, in simple terms really, is we make non-invasive devices that stimulate the part of the brain that controls glucose metabolism, and that's an area called the hypothalamus, traditionally very difficult to actually stimulate, and the focus up until now really has been in implanted devices that stimulate the hypothalamus through the vagus nerve, but we have developed technology that allows us to put the stimulation through the back of the head and actually stimulate the hypothalamus. That then changes the neuromodulation, as I say, from this risky, expensive implant to a low-risk, completely drug-free therapy for type 2 diabetes that is very, very cost-effective. And just highlight again that this is a treatment for type 2 diabetes. It is not just a way to lower raised blood sugar. And by that I mean medication for type 2 diabetes would potentially reduce blood sugar by passing more in urine or stopping the liver producing blood glucose, but that doesn't actually treat the reason as to why the blood glucose was raised in the first place, and that's an issue with the hypothalamus, and that is the area that we target. So we actually treat the root cause of type 2 diabetes. In our interim studies, based here in Dublin, actually looking at 50 people over a period of 16 weeks, we're able to see very significant actually reductions in HbA1c. So it's generally considered at 0.3, 0.4 is where you start to see really significant clinical benefit. Our target for FDA approval is actually 0.5 at 6 months, so we're way ahead in these interim studies. And also really interestingly, we're able to see groups of people who have a very high response. So in this case, 0.7%. So 35% of the active group achieved 0.7% or greater, which is really significant whenever you compare that to the sham group. Quickly then, looking at the regulatory pathway, many discussions with the FDA. This is a de novo application, class 2 device, and it will be a prescribed treatment initially, although in future we can look back if we want to make it OTC. And really the value proposition, as I mentioned, is we prevent or we treat the problem of type 2 diabetes, therefore preventing progression to these riskier drugs, to prevent the progression to all these comorbidities and even eventually onto insulin. And that is actually what causes all these associated costs with type 2 diabetes. The business model is pretty simple. We want to get reimbursement, simple in theory, want to get reimbursement for the US healthcare market. The FDA actually need direct introductions to all these payers, and we have had early discussions already, and certainly there's a high degree of appetite for this low-risk, low-cost technology when coming to treat type 2 diabetes. IP is very strong. I'll not spend a lot of time on this, but in the US we already have our method patent granted. Moving through just the team to deliver this, really rock solid team. We're now at the stage where we're looking at closing out the FDA approvals and moving on to commercialization. We split the company really into hardware, software, and then the finance and economic side. We've really strengthened that team recently by adding in our US-based non-executive director, Tina, who has a very strong history across both neurotechnology and type 2 diabetes. Just coming to the end now, really, where we're at, our phase 3 trials have really started. We actually want to have our data all completed by mid-2023, aiming for FDA approval, probably mid to late 2023 as the world's first non-invasive device that actually treats type 2 diabetes. Thank you very much.